Bethesda just dropped the first gameplay trailer for Rage 2, and boy does it look incredible. Hey guys, JV here, and today I'm sharing my initial impressions of Rage 2. Before we get into that, just a heads up, you can find daily streams of the newest games, as well as commentaries just like this on my Facebook page. So check out the link in the description below, and stay tuned for tons of awesome content. Since the trailer just came out yesterday, and many of you are probably seeing this for the first time, let's watch it again.
When the asteroid hit, billions were gone in the blink of an eye. Tribes rose up. Alliances formed. Territory was conquered. There was no one left alive to tell you no. And in this wild, wide open place, if you wanted something bad enough, it was yours for the taking. You see, in a world where there are no rules, insanity rules.
Starting with some background info, this game is being developed by id Software and Avalanche Studios. Of course, id is famous for the original Wolfenstein, Doom, the original and the new one, Quake, and the first Rage. Avalanche Studios is based in Sweden and is known for developing the Just Cause franchise and the most recent open-world Mad Max games. So you could say we're in great hands in terms of shooters and open-world games. Now let's talk about what Rage 2's story is all about. This is taken straight from Bethesda.net. Mankind is in peril. In the decades following an asteroid's devastation, most of the Earth has become an unforgiving wildland where bloodthirsty factions vie for control of precious resources. Pockets of civilization have emerged to claim their space in the world, but the tentative peace they've established is being threatened. Rage 2 follows Walker, the last ranger of Vineland, as he fights to survive the chaos of the dystopian world in which he was born. With a wide array of weapons, vehicles, and strange powers, Walker sets off to take down the tyrannical authority. From the swamplands and jungles where enemies lurk among the dense foliage to the open deserts where a passing car is more likely to mow you down than offer you a ride, the world of Rage 2 is not a gentle, nurturing place. The people who have survived in this landscape have had to learn to protect themselves and keep their heads on a swivel, especially with the re-emergence of a familiar menace. As if the gangs and mutants aren't enough, Walker has to also contend with the Authority, returning antagonists from the first game who threaten anything good remaining in the world. Led by General Cross, the Authority is on a renewed mission to hunt down the few remaining pure-blood Archists left in the world, and Cross is willing to slaughter everyone to achieve his goals. There we have our narrative backdrop, and it sounds decently interesting. We play a set protagonist, Walker, the last ranger of Vinland or Vineland, so we won't be creating our own character in this game. The antagonist faction from the first game returns, and I'll be honest, I don't remember anything about the story of the first game, not because it's been so long, but honestly, it just wasn't very good in my opinion. I'm hoping that the Authority and General Cross are memorable threats in this game. In terms of a post-apocalyptic world, it sounds fairly typical, but with its own wacky twist. It's nice to hear that we have varied environments to visit, and we'll actually get to see those in the trailer. I was not interested in just driving around deserts, so I'm glad we'll have different ecosystems to explore. We've got a little more info this time on combat. That's where Walker's wealth of unique guns and gears comes in, and he'll need every one of his powerful weapons to defend the wild wasteland he calls home. A ranger's arsenal isn't limited to the abundance of upgradable weapons and toys at their disposal. Fueled by Arcist blood, these elite fighters are the only people in the world who can harness special nanotrite abilities. However, this blood has also made them a target for the Authority, and after years of fighting, Walker is the only ranger still standing. Among the arrows he can choose from his nanotrite ability Quiver are the power to crush enemies into paste from above in a devastating slam attack or send them flying away from him in a lethal energy push. Walker will also learn to channel these nanotrites into his weapons, pushing them into an awe-inspiring overdrive, a unique skill that lets him push his guns beyond their limits and unleash absolute hell on his foes. Chain these abilities together to make Walker a powerhouse of destruction, quickly refilling his overdrive meter. While in overdrive, Walker's guns do more damage, they gain new attributes, enemies drop better rewards, and Walker's health starts to regenerate. When timed correctly, overdrive is more than enough to tip the scales in a tricky fight. So that's all that Bethesda had to share on their site about Rage right now. We get some great insight here into how Rage 2 is actually going to play. I expect it to feel right at home alongside Doom, with solid, satisfying, and effectual gameplay, but with some interesting nanotrite powers mixed in. Personally, I don't need this game to dazzle me with RPG elements. I don't need deep, in-depth branching skill point trees and endless stats. I kind of hope it doesn't go that route. But from the trailer, we can see there are tons of big and interesting guns. We can see pistols, shotguns, assault rifles, rocket launchers, swords, grenades, and the bladed boomerang from the first game. If you slow down, you can actually see these various attachments and variations of each gun. Doom had small options with weapon upgrades that would change the way each gun functions. I really like the way that works, so I'm hoping we get that. It doesn't sound like they're going for Borderlands with tons of procedurally generated weapons, which is a good thing in my opinion. I'd rather use and enjoy 90% of a smaller range of weapons instead of 50% of infinite ones. This also makes me wonder if we're going to have a loot type system with an inventory or just a basic weapon wheel with the ability to pick up weapons off of dead bodies. Let's talk about everything else in the trailer that isn't specified in the press release. We've got several shots of piloted mechs walking around with mounted machine guns. They almost look like power suits from Fallout, so that'll be interesting to see. We've got gigantic mutant creatures walking around with huge artillery on their backs, which again reminds me of Super Mutant Behemoths. We also have these nanotrite powers. In the trailer, we can see a few of these abilities in action, including the Power Slam, the Energy Wave, and the Super Jump. There's also one at the very beginning that suspends enemies in mid-air. It seems like they're going for more of a functional route with these abilities, giving us practical ways to pair them with the gunplay instead of running around like wizards only using our powers. There's also the overdrive mechanic, which is fueled by the nanotrite abilities. Once the bar is filled, Walker gets that damage boost, guns have new attributes, enemies drop better rewards, and you get health regen. It sounds like a super/ultimate power ability to me. Let's talk about that really small line there, enemies dropping better rewards. It does sound like there's a looting mechanic in the game. Either that, or they just mean enemies will drop more currency or something like that, so we'll have to see. Finally, there's definitely some form of vehicular combat. We see several scenes of armored cars shooting one another with mounted machine guns and rocket-propelled explosives. They even have flamethrowers, so I'd love to see a decent amount of vehicle customization in this game because Mad Max-style vehicle combat is so damn cool, and I'm so glad it's in this game. Overall, I think Rage 2 looks fantastic so far. It seems like a true open-world FPS, leaning away from, messy RPG elements and focusing on solid, core shooting mechanics. Like I've suggested throughout this video, I think Rage 2 will be a better game if it doesn't try to emulate Borderlands or Fallout. The game will be launching in spring 2019 on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and if any new info comes out, you can count on me to share it here on the channel. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. In the comment section below, tell me what you think about Rage 2. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more commentaries just like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.